Welcome back to the deep dive. We sift through stacks of sources, articles, research, your notes, really, and pull out the key insights for you. It's kind of a shortcut to getting genuinely informed, maybe with a few surprising facts and hopefully enough conversation to keep you listening. Today we're delving into something that feels, well, less like a convenience and more like a real dilemma for so many Christian parents. Yeah. The smartphone and its place in our kids' lives. I remember hearing this story. It really it hit home. About a mom, Susan, let's call her. She gave her kids phones, I think they were 10 and 13, and she kind of regretted it pretty quickly. She said they went from being tools to just constant companions. Cue the frustrating screen time battles, unexpected app charges, that initial connection feeling just soured.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Or like Eric, another dad, just exhausted from arguing with his son.
Yeah.
And then realizing with this kind of sinking feeling, he didn't even really know what his son was doing on the phone.
Yeah.
Or for how long. Does that resonate, that low hum of parental anxiety when you see those glowing screens? It keeps people up at night, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And it leads to these big questions like, what if your child's first phone could actually shape their eternity? Is screen time? Is it the discipleship issue of our age? That's a heavy thought, right? But it makes you realize the stakes are incredibly high. So today, we're doing a deep dive into this digital dilemma for Christian parents. We've gathered a whole stack of sources for scientific studies, youth perspectives, theological reflections, practical guidance, the whole 9 yards. Our mission here, just to be clear, isn't to tell you exactly what age or what rules are right. There's no magic formula that fits every single family.
No, definitely not.
Instead, we want to equip you with wisdom, different viewpoints, and practical tools so you can prayerfully figure out what's best for your family, grounded in God's wisdom. It really is, like Nikki Truesdale says in one source, a new frontier for parenting. We're kind of the pioneers here, figuring this out as we go.
That's so true. And as pioneers, you need a compass. For us as Christian parents, that compass has to be Scripture. A really foundational verse here is Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it.
A classic.
Right, but it's more than just a nice saying. It's a command and a promise. But it directly challenges us now. How do we train them up in a world just flooded with screens, endless digital noise, algorithms designed to hook them? It's not just about controlling what they do with the tech. It's really about shaping who they become while living immersed in it. It's about intentional discipleship in this digital age. And it's important to say up front, like you mentioned, we're not anti-technology here. Not at all.
Yeah.
Technology fundamentally is applied technique, as Tony Reinke puts it. Think about it. From the first stone tools to spaceships, God is the ultimate creator, and he made us creative too. Yeah. He's the creator of creators, believe it or not. Isaiah 54:16 says it. I have created the smith who blows the fire and produces a weapon. Technology itself is a tool. It can be a gift used for amazing good, connecting, learning, serving, sharing faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
The real tension, and Grammar of Grace puts this well, is balancing all the good things technology offers with the very real potential for harm. So we're not anti-tech, we're definitely pro-discernment. And our hope, is key, can't be in the tool itself, not in human innovation. It has to be in God, who made the tools and the innovators.
Pro-discernment, not anti-technology. I like that framing. It shifts the focus from just fear to being, well, intentional. Okay, so let's unpack that big burning question. The when. The right age for that first phone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It feels like everyone has an opinion, right? Peers, safety concerns, wanting them to connect. It's a minefield. What does the actual research show? Especially when, it seems like the science doesn't always agree. Because I bet a lot of listeners just want a number. Just tell me the age.
If only it were that simple. You've hit the nail on the head. The research is nuanced. We have studies that, seem to point in different directions, which is why there's no easy golden rule.
Right.
Take, for example, this Stanford medicine study from 2022. It was rigorous, longitudinal, meaning they followed the same kids over time.
Yeah.
Right. Over 250 low-income Latino kids, ages 7 to 15, tracked for 5 years as they got phones. And what they found was, well, surprising. They found no meaningful link between the age the kids got their first phone and things like their grades, sleep, or depression symptoms. The lead author actually said, there doesn't seem to be a golden rule about waiting until 8th grade or a certain age.
Wow. So the timing itself wasn't the big predictor in that group.
Exactly. It suggests maybe the age of getting the phone isn't the main driver of those issues. But then you contrast that with the Sapien Lab study from 2023, much bigger study, almost 28,000 young adults across 41 countries. Huge sample.
Okay, different approach.
Right. And this one found that people who reported getting their first smartphone or tablet earlier also reported lower mental health scores as young adults, like 18 to 24. And this effect was apparently stronger for girls.
Okay, wait. So Stanford says no clear link with age for well-being during childhood and adolescence. But Sapien Labs links earlier adoption to poorer mental health in young adulthood. That explains why parents feel so confused.
Yeah, exactly. It highlights that crucial difference we need to grasp. Correlation versus causation.
Right. Explain that.
So the Sapien Lab study shows a correlation, a connection, a link between getting a phone earlier and low mental health later. But it doesn't prove the phone caused the mental health issues. Think of it like ice cream sales and drowning rates both go up in summer. They're correlated, but eating ice cream doesn't cause drowning. Summer is the underlying factor.
Got it.
Similarly, maybe kids who are already struggling, maybe with anxiety or social issues, get phones earlier. Maybe parents hope it helps them connect, or it's used as a coping tool. The Stanford study, tracking kids through that transition, adds nuance by suggesting the specific age itself might not be the direct trigger for immediate problems. So yeah, the science isn't handing us a simple number. It's way more complex.
Okay, so if there's no magic number, no golden rule age,
Yeah.
the conversation has to shift, right? It's less about the calendar date and more about the actual child,
Yeah.
their readiness.
Precisely. It's about discernment, not just a birthday.
So what should parents be looking at then, if not just age?
Well, one interesting angle comes from asking young people themselves. A University of Michigan study surveyed teens and young adults 14 to 24. On average, they got their first phone around 12. But interestingly, they recommended the ideal age was maybe 12 or 13, mainly for necessity.
Necessity. Like
Things like contacting parents, that was the biggest reason, safety, coordinating after-school stuff. They also saw it as a chance to learn responsibility. So for them, the practical side often seemed more important than just entertainment when thinking about the right time.
That's actually really insightful hearing it from them.
It is. And then you have experts like Jenny Radesky, also at UM, who studies this stuff. She advises parents to really assess their child's maturity. Ask yourself, does my child show responsibility? Good impulse control? Sound judgment when unsupervised? And importantly, how do they plan to use it? Is it mainly for calls, or is the big draw the internet and social media? Understanding their intent is huge. And she notes, fascinatingly, that some teens actually regret getting smartphones early because of the new distractions and social drama it brought.
Wow. They admit it themselves.
Yeah.
That really underscores the potential pitfalls.
It does. And parents feel it too. Pew Research found back in 2020 that 71% of parents thought smartphone use by kids under 12 probably causes more harm than good. That's a big majority feeling uneasy.
Yeah, gut feeling maybe.
Possibly. And you hear parents, like in that Forward in Christ article, admitting they fell into the everyone else has one trap. They wish they'd started with a basic phone first, maybe a flip phone, instead of jumping straight to a smartphone. Peer pressure is just. It's a really powerful force in this decision.
No kidding. It's hard to resist.
Yeah, definitely. So, maturity isn't just age. Biblically speaking, Emily Harrison connects it to character. She draws on 2 Timothy, linking maturity to the ability to flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness. It suggests a readiness of heart and spirit. A developing discernment is really what's needed before you hand them this incredibly powerful, complex tool. It's about equipping them spiritually and emotionally first.
That reframing is powerful, from age to readiness, spiritual and emotional readiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so beyond the when, this is where it gets, frankly, a bit intense, the what and the how. There are real dangers, but also opportunities. And how are kids, and let's be real, us too, use this technology? What are the big risks we need to have on our radar? I think we sense them, but spelling them out is important.
Oh, the risks are definitely multifaceted. They touch everything mental, physical, spiritual. It's a whole ecosystem of potential problems. First, the straightforward ones, mental and physical health. Studies keep linking heavy smartphone and social media use to higher rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, even suicide risk in young people.
Those stats are scary.
They are. Christian Family Solutions points out that teen depression rates jumped over 60% between 2009 and 2017. That timeline lines up almost exactly with the smartphone boom. A 60% jump? That's staggering. That represents so many kids struggling.
And physically.
Yeah, physically too. More screen time often means less physical activity, potential obesity. It messes with sleep, which is crucial for development. Eye strain, headaches. Brown University notes these aren't just minor discomforts, they impact developing bodies and minds. Our bodies are temples, right? How we use tech impacts how we steward them.
And it's not just that they choose to use it so much, is it? We hear these things are designed to be addictive. That feels almost unfair, like setting kids up to fail.
It's a critical point. Tech companies invest billions making these apps and devices addictive. They're engineered by brilliant people specifically to capture and hold our attention.
So it's not just a neutral tool.
Not entirely. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they're designed for habitual engagement. Think about the endless scroll, the notifications, the likes. It triggers dopamine hits. The stats are kind of alarming. The average millennial checking their phone 157 times a day. Half of teenagers admitting they feel addicted. That's not casual use. It's a powerful pull, often stronger than their developing self-control.
Wow. So it becomes a boss, not a servant, like biblical parenting puts it. That's
Yeah.
unsettling, especially for kids.
Deeply unsettling. And this addictive nature opens the door to another huge risk: exposure to harmful content and worldviews.
This is the one I think worries parents most.
Understandably. The internet is basically an open door into your home, as Right Now Media says. Pornography, violence, cyberbullying, subtle or overt anti-biblical messages. They're often just a click away. And Christ overall makes this chilling point. Most children won't go searching for harmful things online, but they don't have to. Harmful things have a way of finding children through algorithms, targeted ads, even seemingly innocent platforms.
Filters help, right? But you hear kids get around them.
Exactly. Filters are essential. We'll talk about them, but they are not foolproof. Kids are often very savvy. And sometimes the harmful influence isn't overt content, but the underlying worldview, the subtle messages. It reminds me of that profound wisdom from Corrie ten Boom's father, telling her as a child, "Some knowledge is too heavy for children. For now, you must trust me to carry it for you."
That applies so perfectly here.
Doesn't it? Some things on the internet are just too heavy for young hearts and minds. As parents, we're called to carry that weight for them, to protect them. And from a discipleship view, media, music, shows, games can, as the disciple-making parent notes, do an end run around the truth. It shapes their imagination, their values, often bypassing critical thought. It can directly challenge their faith. That's why Emily Harrison boldly states, "Screen time is the discipleship issue of our age. It's actively shaping their souls."
Wow. That puts it starkly.
And then there's the erosion of real-world engagement and creativity. Constant device use can foster kind of laziness, replacing face-to-face interaction, deep play, imaginative invention with just consuming.
Less doing, more watching.
Exactly. Playing a game versus watching someone else play. Building something versus watching a DIY video. It shifts focus from creating to consuming. And crucially, we lose those along the way conversations Christ overall talks about. The moments in the car, at dinner, before bed. Deuteronomy 6 tells us to impress God's commands on our children as we live life together. Those spontaneous moments are prime discipleship time, and screens often steal them.
That loss feels huge.
It is. And Tony Reinke adds another layer. Social media often creates echo chambers. We see stuff that confirms what we already think. But the local church, that's diverse, face-to-face, unfiltered community. It challenges us, grows us in ways an online bubble can't. That real-world interaction is vital for spiritual maturity.
Okay, those risks are really sobering. The spiritual dimension is just undeniable. But just knowing the dangers isn't enough, is it? How do we move from awareness to actually stewarding this? What does a biblical approach look like? Not just saying no, but having a faithful yes or no.
Right. We need that positive framework. And it starts with acknowledging God's sovereignty over everything, including tech. Tony Reinke's point, again, technology is applied technique, part of creation. God made us creative. Isaiah 54:16. God created the smith who makes tools. He wants us to engage, innovate, make things, and use them to love him and love others. We don't demonize the tool. We discern its use. We steward it.
So the tool isn't inherently evil.
Correct. The primary danger isn't the tech itself, but idolatry. Putting our hope in technology, as Reinke warns, drawing from Psalm 20. Trusting tech to save us, fix us, fulfill us, instead of God, making tech a god, when the phone is the first thing you grab, the last thing you see, when it controls your mood. That's bordering on idolatry.
Okay, so how do we steward it faithfully then?
A cornerstone is discerning content through a biblical lens. Philippians 4:8 is non-negotiable here. Whatever's true, honorable, just pure, lovely, commendable. Think about these things.
The Philippians 4.8 test.
Exactly. This isn't just for us. It's a filter parents must apply to what kids watch, listen to, play, interact with. Does this show, this game, this influencer align with truth? Does it promote virtue or vice? Does it honor God? If it normalizes sin, promotes unbiblical values, or subtly undermines faith, it fails the test. We have to be intentional about what shapes their minds and hearts.
It requires really paying attention.
It does. And then there's time stewardship, Ephesians 5.16. Make the most of your time because the days are evil. Time is a gift from God, a resource to be managed wisely for His glory. We have to ask honestly, is hours of gaming, endless scrolling, binge-watching the best use of this precious time considering eternity? Recreation is good, rest is vital, but mindless consumption that leaves us empty isn't stewardship.
Oof. That hits close to home for many of us, I suspect.
Me included. And linked to that is radical action against sin. Matthew 5.29. If your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. Jesus uses hyperbole, but the point is serious. If a device, an app, a platform consistently leads our kids into sin, lust, anger, gossip, envy, sloth, we need to take decisive, radical action to remove that temptation. Media might be the playground, as one source said, but the heart is the battleground. We help guard their hearts by managing the playground.
Radical action sounds, well, radical. Like taking the phone away completely. What if it's needed for school or staying connected? That feels like a huge step that could cause other problems.
Yep. That's a fair point and a very real tension parents face. Radical doesn't always mean immediate, total removal, though sometimes it might. It means prioritizing spiritual health over convenience or perceived social norms. It could mean removing specific apps, installing much stricter filters, moving the device out of the bedroom permanently, or creating a contract where loss of the device is a clear consequence for certain behaviors. The key is addressing the root of the sin issue seriously, while still having these crucial conversations with your child about the why. Explaining the spiritual danger, the desire for their good, helps maintain the relationship. It becomes discipleship, not just punishment.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about the principle behind the action.
Precisely. And finally, there's the uniqueness of the written word. Grammar of Grace points this out beautifully. God chose the Bible, the written word, as His primary way to reveal Himself. It trains us for deep, focused reading. Digital screens are different. Content can be changed, it affects eyesight differently, and arguably it encourages shallower engagement than a physical book. God chose the stability and focus of written text. Are we, maybe unintentionally, training our kids for fragmented consumption when God desires deep, thoughtful engagement with truth? It's a call to value and prioritize deep reading, especially of Scripture, in a world of scrolling.
That's a profound point about the medium itself.
Yeah.
Okay, this framework, God's sovereignty, avoiding idolatry, Philippians 4.8, time stewardship, radical action, valuing the written word, it gives us so much to work with that moves us beyond just reacting. But wow, it's a lot. I can imagine listeners feeling maybe a bit convicted, maybe overwhelmed, which is exactly why we need the practicals. What can we actually do starting today? What concrete strategies did our sources offer?
Yeah, let's get practical. And the how really starts with us, the parents. Step 1 is parental self-examination and modeling. Before setting rules for the kids, we have to look in the mirror. Ask yourself honestly, what does my tech use communicate? How much of my day does it eat up? Does it make me a better spouse, parent, Christian, or does it leave me drained and distracted? ReasonableTheology.org presses this. Our own lives need to model what we want for our kids.
Ouch. Yeah, that's where it has to start.
It really does. And then model healthy use. Put your phone away during meals, during important conversations. Don't pause a chat with your child to check a notification. Limit your own screen time, especially when they're around. They learn by watching us. If we're glued to our screens, our words about limits ring hollow.
So true. Okay, we check ourselves, we model better habits. What's next for setting up boundaries for the kids?
Establish clear rules and expectations. This is crucial. Many sources recommend a formal family technology contract.
A written contract.
Yeah, written down. Outlines the rules, expectations for behavior online and offline, and importantly, the consequences for breaking the rules. Have the kids sign it. It creates clarity, shared understanding, and accountability. Helps avoid those, but you never said, arguments.
I can see how that would help. What goes in the contract?
Definitely screen time limits. Decide what's reasonable for your child's age and needs, and be consistent. Use parental controls or apps like RPAC to help enforce schedules, maybe no access during school hours, dinner, or after a certain time at night. Forward in Christ stresses making this an intentional decision, not just reacting when things get out of hand. You could even get creative, like Christian parenting suggests. Let kids earn screen time through reading, chores, or physical activity. Teaches balance.
Earn screen time.
Yeah.
Interesting idea.
Yeah. And critically, establish phone-free zones and times. This is huge. No devices in bedrooms at night, period. Get an old-school alarm clock. Christian parenting suggests a firm 9 p.m. turn-in.
Even for alarms.
Even for alarms, too much temptation, too much sleep disruption. No computers behind closed bedroom doors either. Keep tech use in common areas. Make family meals absolutely phone-free. Maybe even try a weekly tech Sabbath a day, or part of a day completely unplugged, as Grace College suggests. Protect those sacred spaces and times for connection.
Those are definite boundaries. But kids are smart. Tech changes fast. How do we use tech itself to help enforce this? What tools are out there, and how good are they?
Good question. This is where we leverage technology for protection. You absolutely should use parental controls and monitoring software. Install filters on devices and your home Wi-Fi. There are lots of options. Net Nanny, Custodio, Circle for Home Networks, Bark monitors texts and social media for concerning keywords, bullying, depression, etc. Gab Wireless offers filtered phones for younger kids. RPact, Family Time, Guardian. Do your research, see what fits your family.
And monitoring. Should you tell them you're doing it?
Absolutely. Open monitoring is key. Be upfront. Tell them how and why you'll be monitoring, that you'll have access to messages, social media. It's not about spying. It's about accountability, safety, and fulfilling your role as their guide and protector. Builds trust, actually.
Okay, transparency is important. What about younger kids using our phone?
Use single app access. Guided access on iPhones or app pinning on Android lets you lock the phone into one specific app. Great for letting a little one play an educational game without them wandering off into YouTube. But remember, as the Gospel Coalition Canada notes, you still need to set controls within apps like Disney Plus or Netflix because the device lock doesn't filter the content inside the app itself.
Ah, good point. Any other tools?
For older, more mature kids, you might consider accountability software like Covenant Eyes or Accountable to You. This fosters transparency, often with an accountability partner, promoting digital integrity rather than just catching missteps. But here's the huge caveat, the one almost every source repeats. No filter is perfect. Kids are often brilliant at finding workarounds. So, as Nikki Truesdale puts it, and others echo, the parent is the best parental control. The tech tools are aids, they create friction, they help. But they cannot replace your active involvement, your conversations, your relationship. You are the primary defense.
That's such a crucial reminder. Tools support, they don't replace.
Right.
Okay, so beyond rules and tech, what about building their internal compass? How do we foster real digital literacy and keep communication open?
This is maybe the most important part long-term. Fostering open communication and digital literacy. Commit to ongoing conversations. Regular check-ins. Ask about their online world, new apps, anything weird or uncomfortable they've seen. Ask if they've encountered bullying or content that bothered them. Make it normal to talk about this stuff.
Creating that safe space to share.
Exactly, and actively teach digital literacy and critical thinking. Help them develop healthy skepticism, as Mission Hills Church puts it, citing Proverbs 2.6 about seeking wisdom. Discuss the messages in media. Ask, who made this? Why? Is it true? Is it helpful? Teach them to analyze, not just consume.
Equip them to think for themselves.
Yes. And explicitly educate on online safety. Cyberbullying, privacy, not talking to strangers, what to do if they see something inappropriate. Close it. Tell you immediately. Basic digital citizenship. And discuss desensitization. Explain how seeing or hearing certain things repeatedly, even subtly, can make sin seem normal or less serious over time. Help them understand the gradual spiritual erosion that can happen.
These can be tough conversations, though, especially if we feel like we don't have all the answers or struggle ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. It takes courage. You won't always feel perfectly equipped. But sources like Christian Parenting offer such encouragement. Don't shy away. God has entrusted you with your children. You are qualified. He will equip you. Your voice, your love, your guidance, grounded in His wisdom, are powerful. Don't underestimate that.
That's good to hear.
And finally, actively encourage creativity and real-world alternatives. Promote creation over mere consumption. Let them see you engaging in real-world activities, cooking, fixing things, reading, playing games. Be the example.
Model the alternative.
Exactly. Have a list of non-tech activities ready for the I'm bored moments. Reading, art, outdoors, family games, serving others. Cultivate their ability to entertain themselves, to be creative, to connect face-to-face. Remember Andy Crouch's insight? Boredom isn't a problem to be instantly solved by a screen. It can actually be a gift, a catalyst for imagination and ingenuity. We sometimes rob them of that gift by always providing digital pacifiers.
Wow. Okay. This has been incredibly rich. So much practical wisdom grounded in a solid biblical framework. It's challenging but hopeful too. It feels like we have a path forward, even if it's not easy.
It definitely isn't easy. And remember, we are pioneers in this digital age. There's no manual passed down through generations for this specific challenge, but God has entrusted your children to you. Don't take that lightly and don't underestimate this unique challenge. It demands prayer, intentionality, constant engagement, and leaning heavily on God's wisdom. You're not doing this alone. He is with you.
That's such a vital reminder. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, pressured by culture, but God's wisdom is available. He promises to give it generously when we ask.
So I'd really encourage everyone listening, take these ideas, pray about them, talk about them as a family. Don't just let this be information you heard. Let it spark real change. Can we, as followers of the Creator God, look up from our own screens and help our families look up and consciously choose a better path? It starts with each one of us making intentional choices.
I keep coming back to that quote from Tony Reinke you mentioned earlier. It just cuts through so much noise. I know we'll never look back and say, I wish we'd given them phones sooner, or I wish we'd all been online more often.
Powerful perspective, isn't it?
It really is. It clarifies the long game.
So maybe the question to leave you with, to reflect on, is this. What is the true measure of well-being that God desires for our children, not just temporary happiness, but eternal flourishing? And how does our stewardship of technology day by day truly align with that ultimate purpose?
A profound question indeed, one to guide us long after this deep dive ends. Thank you so much for navigating this complex topic with us, and thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Next time, we'll continue exploring how faith intersects with modern life. Until then, keep digging for truth.